Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest challenges on the planet, feeding everyone. We need more food, right? But we need to grow it smarter, with way fewer resources. So what if the solution wasn't just in the dirt? What if it was hiding in a bunch of code? Let's dive in.
I mean, think about it. It's the question we've been asking forever. How do you give a plant exactly what it needs at the exact right moment to get it to just thrive? Well, the answer today is a little different. Yep, you heard that right. Before a single seed touches soil, you grow it thousands of times inside a computer. Welcome to the absolutely wild world of the digital plant.
Now, what we're looking at is a piece of software called the Enhanced Crop Grow Hydroponic Simulator. But forget thinking about lines of code. Seriously, just get that out of your head. A better way to think about this is as a recipe for a digital twin, a perfect virtual copy of a real plant that lives its entire life inside a computer.
So how on earth do you build a plant from ones and zeros? Well, it's kind of like the real thing. You start with its DNA. In the simulation, that just means we have to lay down the basic rules for its virtual life. And here's the cool part. The simulator isn't barking orders at the plant, telling it to grow. Nope. Instead, it uses a whole list of parameters. And these numbers, they're basically the plant's genetic code. They define everything about it, its personality, you could say. From its favorite temperature to how it feels about the light, it's all right there in the data.
For example, the code sets the absolute perfect daytime temperature for our digital lettuce here. It likes things to be about 26 degrees Celsius. That's its sweet spot. Not too hot, not too cold.
But it's not just about the air around it. The simulation knows this plant likes its roots to be just a little bit cooler. So, boom, the genetic blueprint sets the perfect root zone temperature to a nice, refreshing 20 degrees. And get this, it even knows the plant starts to get a little stressed if the air gets too dry. So the code makes sure the humidity never ever drops below 60%. You see, these aren't just numbers on a screen. They're the rules for a perfect digital existence. Okay, so once that genetic blueprint is all set, the simulator can start the clock. It begins running a daily cycle, simulating every single thing that happens to that plant in a 24-hour window. And this, my friends, is where the real magic begins.
Think of it like a daily diary for the plant. Every single day, it wakes up, checks the weather, temperature, light, all that good stuff. Then it asks itself, am I stressed? Is it too hot? Too dark? Then it does its photosynthesis thing, making energy from virtual sunlight. And finally, it uses that energy to grow, building out new leaves, new stems, and drinking up nutrients. This simple little loop repeats day after day, building a whole virtual life from scratch.
But look, let's be real. Life is never perfect, right? Not even for a digital plant. So for a simulation to be really powerful, it has to know how to handle the bad days too. It needs to understand how this plant is going to fight to survive when things start to go wrong. And the way it does this is, well, you could almost call it a nervous system. There's this one central function that is constantly checking for everything that could possibly be a problem. Too hot, not enough water, you name it. And this is the key. It calculates the combined impact of all those stressors at once. It's not looking at problems one by one. It's feeling the total overall stress, just like you or I would. And you can see the difference right here. It's a tale of 2 days. On a perfect day, the stress factor is almost 1, meaning the plant is hitting 98% of its genetic potential. It's living its best life. But on a hot, dry day, that number plummets to 0.65. The plant is still hanging in there, but it's losing more than a third of its growing power, just trying to survive. So after we let the simulation run for a whole virtual season, through all the good days and the bad, what do we actually get out of it? Well, this is the payoff. This is where we get to see all that code turn into something we can actually understand. A virtual harvest. What we get is data, just beautiful, clean data that tells the story of our little digital plant. We can track its total weight, that's the biomass, day by day. We can also see its leaf area index, or LAI, which is just a fancy way of saying how leafy it's getting. You can literally watch the plant get bigger, gram by gram, right on the screen. And this, right here, this is the whole point. By running thousands, even millions of these digital lives under every condition you can imagine, different weather, different nutrients, different genes, we can predict with incredible accuracy which crops are going to do the best. We can design smarter farms and more resilient systems, all before we even think about breaking ground in the real world. It all leads to this one kind of mind-blowing question. If we can perfectly model a plant's entire life in code, well, how long is it before the very same algorithms growing these digital twins are the ones out there, tending our real farms and feeding our future? Makes you think, doesn't it?